With an endless stream of manga and anime coming out, it's more important than ever before to spend your time wisely. Unfortunately, as the industry explodes in popularity, a lot of trash is being produced. So instead of trying to find a diamond in a flaming garbage bin, why not dust off the forgotten masterpieces? These types of stories might be a little older, a little less talked about, but they are way more likely to shock you to your very core. Today, I want to talk about one of these incredible forgotten masterpieces. The Breaker is a martial arts manga done right. Technically, it's a manhwa, but I'm going to use the term interchangeably, forgive me. To really highlight how different The Breaker is from most martial arts manga, let's compare the series versus the two new martial arts series in Shonen Jump. Martial arts mangas always have a fight scene in chapter 1, so you get a feel for the action ahead. Martial art master Asumi's opening fight is a fast-paced, non-stop brawl in an alley. You see Asumi systematically dismantle a group of school bullies in an alleyway, ultimately revealing that he knows how to strike and grapple. This is a plot twist since most fights in martial arts mangas focus on purely striking opponents. Do Retry, on the other hand, leans into the explosiveness of fighting. It's a boxing manga where the main character is punching fast and hard. The author even illustrated a see-through picture of the person's brain to help emphasize how brutal the critical blow in the fight is. Unlike martial master Asumi, this series leans more heavily into the exciting fights that feel a little fantasy-like. Now let's compare these to the opening fight in The Breaker. After getting into a fight with a group of bouncers, Han Chun Woo punches one of them in the stomach. It's a brutal punch. While there is plenty of movement in the panel, it's the face of the bouncer that sells you on the impact. It doesn't have the motion blur that the rest of the panel has. It's a face frozen in pain, shocked and breaking, eyes bulging. It's a little unsettling. Then the motion suddenly halts, and the wind up to the next blow is shown in a series of snapshots. Panel by panel, you watch as Chun Woo takes his leg and lifts it over the bouncer's body. There's no need to indicate speed because the bouncer's slowly falling body does it for you. The Breaker is indicating speed by using somebody's falling, broken body. More pain is ahead for the bouncer, who is already reeling after a single blow. And then, the climax. A devastating blow to the bouncer's head. Previously, the bouncer's head was the detail that indicated the initial blow's impact. But now the violence has peaked to the point where the bouncer's head is consumed entirely by the sheer impact of the blow. But that's not the most intense part of this panel. It's the smile on Han Chun Woo's face, a cold, cruel smile that promises a different kind of martial arts story. If you're also feeling chills right now, you are going to love The Breaker. The Breaker not only has incredible art, but an entirely different way to approach the martial arts genre. Instead of this being a story that drags on over years with extensive tournament arcs and major build-ups to fights, the entire 72-chapter story takes place over a little more than a month. Lee Shin-woon is a weak high school boy who is heavily bullied. This is a standard starting point for most martial arts manga. But The Breaker really makes this situation genuinely awful, even as far as martial arts stories go. Lee Shin-woon's first appearance in the series is a colored picture of him getting relentlessly beaten by a group of bullies. In chapter 2, this bullying is taken up another notch. You see Shin-woon called into a bathroom to be shaken down for some money and get to see Shin-woon viciously beaten. Lee Shin-woon is kicked in the stomach, sending him backwards into a bathroom stall. He keels over, coughing and gasping for air, but it's just not over yet. The bully bends down, picks Shin-woo up by his hair, and then relentlessly slaps him around. Lee Shin-woon is left fearful and cowering. The bully takes the money and reminds Shin-woon to bring more money next week. But this bathroom beating isn't enough to break Lee Shin-woon. Between the bullying scene I just described, a neglectful mother, and a complete lack of friends, Shin-woon truly has nothing. But he has also become used to this horrifying life. However, when Sei-hee, the school beauty who happens to be the one person to care about Shin-woon, finds out about the bullying, Lee Shin-woon finally starts to break. The one person who cares about him can finally see how weak he truly is. Shin-woon goes up to the school roof to contemplate what to do next. Now, I did lie about something earlier. Shin-woon does have one thing going for him. In chapter 1, Lee Shin-woon stumbled across Han Chun Woo's fight with the bouncers and recorded it. he decides to use this recording to blackmail Han Chun Woo, who happens to be the new teacher at his school, into dealing with his bullies. But after pushback from Chun Woo about solving his own problems, Lee Shin-woon decides to blackmail him into teaching Lee Shin-woon martial arts. Now I'll be honest, this is pretty basic stuff. Lee Shin-woon is not that special as a character. He isn't a bad character, but he's still that optimistic, straight from the bottom, straight to the top character that you find in many mangas. On the other hand, his teacher Han Chun Woo is one hell of a character, one not often seen in manga. Han Chun Woo is not a hero. He has joined the school as a teacher because he is lying low after killing a martial arts master. He is a dangerous, ultra-powerful villain in the world of martial arts, hell-bent on revenge for the death of his master, and is willing to go to any depths to achieve that goal. A story about a villain trying to balance his desire for revenge with new feelings he hasn't felt before is a rare story indeed. What's rarer still is that Han Chun Woo will never lose his desire for revenge, nor his villainous tendency. The Breaker is not a redemption story. Rather, it's a journey in which you will learn about the character and watch them evolve to balance their violent ambitions alongside new goals. The story revolves around Han Chun Woo training Lee Shin-woon while the Martial Arts Alliance, which keeps the world of martial arts separate from the normal world, gets ever closer to locating Han Chun Woo. Chun Woo is a dangerous criminal after all and does need to be captured or defeated. But the story is over the course of a month. You can't really do any long training arcs or massive tournaments in this time frame. So are these arcs within the story any good? Oh my god, they are so good! I can't even believe it. You get the initial training, world building, character development at the start. Fine, standard stuff, blah 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 blah. But the real first moment you go, god damn, that's the good stuff, is a fight to the death in a bomb-covered construction site. Han Chun Woo has already exhausted himself due to prior events, including taking down an entire gang. Now he has to defeat a martial arts master, the disciple of the master that Han Chun Woo has killed, and then escape before Chun Woo is blown up by the bombs. This disciple is even pushing his body past its limits, knowing that in 10 minutes he will be a cripple for the rest of his life. Hence, the bombs in the building are set to go off in 10 minutes. The disciple is going to sacrifice his life to try to get revenge on Han Chun Woo for killing his master. A brutal parallel to Han Chun Woo's own quest for revenge. What you see next is a brutal, bloody fight. As the blood splatters and their bodies take hits, the same chills you felt before come back again. Just look at this art, the blows! This is the first major fight in the series, and it is more intense than pretty much any manga's final battle. It's so raw and unhinged, and I am here for it. Now, most series that could produce a fight this good would lean into this style of 1v1 fighting. Think tournament arcs. If you're this good at creating an intense 1v1 fight that the readers love, make it the primary type of battle. Everyone will be happy. But the Breaker takes this straightforward approach and says, screw that garbage. The next arc is a car chase sequence where a motorcycle gang of martial artists is chasing after Shin-woon as he and a driver desperately try to escape with a young girl they found in the trunk of a car. That girl may or may not be kidnapped. It's complicated, it's intense, it's awesome, you're gonna love it. And then boom, let's dial up the action in the next arc because it's time for Shin-woon to finally have a major confrontation with his bullies, and then boom, he has accidentally helped the Martial Arts Alliance get closer to locating Chun Woo. And then boom, it's chapter 40 and it's time for a 32 chapter final arc that's just intense, sheer, non-stop awesomeness that somehow manages to eclipse all the other non-stop epic stuff that just occurred from these arcs and everything else I didn't mention. Oh my god! Between each arc is when Lee Shin-woon is slowly getting stronger. His training is not the main focus of the story, rather it's used as downtime, a moment of reprieve between arcs. A time for character building as Chun Woo and Shin-woon keep evolving. Now, some people don't like the Breaker, and it's usually people who go into the story expecting Naruto. In a series like Naruto, you expect a mix of training arcs and villains getting destroyed in a beautiful montage where time doesn't matter. You can even use time skips to make sure the main character powering up so quickly feels somewhat believable. In the Breaker, Shin-woon is technically your main character, but it's Han Chun Woo you pay attention to. It's his evolution into becoming more than a disciple seeking revenge that's so interesting. You also get to watch Chun Woo slowly figure out how love works. Chun Woo starts off as a player who just loves any beautiful woman. This is used to add comedic moments to the story, but also highlights his lack of attachment to anything but revenge. Now, another member of the terrorist organization that Chun Woo belongs to joins the school to lie low after a job. I didn't mention till now that Chun Woo is in a terrorist organization, but that's okay. Shiho joins as a school nurse and is just an absolutely awesome character. Confident, competent, stunning in all the right ways, a master of disguise, martial arts, and poisons. She uses her attractiveness to her advantage, manipulating those around her with ease. Well, except for Han Chun Woo, which is a little bizarre. See, Chun Woo is a player that chases after pretty much any beautiful woman in the series, but in this case, Chun Woo wants nothing to do with Lee Shin-ho, treating her as a dangerous person. This is noteworthy because Chun Woo is overpowered to an extreme within the series, but even he has to be cautious with Shiho's ability to manipulate the people around her. But Lee Shiho is genuinely into Han Chun Woo and uses her talents to chip away at the barriers that Chun Woo has emotionally built against attachment. The Breaker is a masterpiece, and you do not want to miss out on Chun Woo's evolution from revenge-seeking individual to something more complex. It is an unbelievable trip, and I hope you decide to take the plunge.